Music Club, Grand Rising. How you doing today? I hope you're well and all is well with you. Father has kept you. Hope you have a beautiful pre-Sabbath. Sorry about that. I had to turn my Do Not Disturb on. So, how you been this past week? Everything good with you? Handling your challenges in a upright manner, in a way that is pleasing to the Father, make your soul feel good at the end of the day. Learn some things about yourself, about the Word, about how the Word applies to your life. I hope so. So today we went out, just hanging out. Ran into a brother, had a real good conversation. It's always a good conversation when Yahweh is involved. And during that conversation, a lot of things was touched on. But one of the more important things that stuck out was a part of our conversation that pertained to the religious, cultist rite and ritual of first Sunday eating wafers and drinking wine, supposedly honoring the word of Yahshua. Now I say the word of Yahshua purposely because Yahshua is who and what I follow. Not Jesus. I don't do Zeus. Don't get down with no Greek gods. I don't do Christos. Nope. I do the Messiah, Hamashiach. And one of the things the brother said when we discussed that, because that was a part of our discussion as well, he was like, yeah, but God can be called God in any language, and he used the Arab world as referring to Yah or Allah, and that was the only one he can come up with. He did use Buddha and other places, but I had to remind him that a name is still a name, right? So we come and talk about the Father. The Father gives himself the name Yahweh. Yahweh is the name that means everlasting breath, eternal breath. It never stops. Doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have the ending, eternal breath, right? And from Yahweh, he sent instructions to humans on how to align themselves properly in order to find their way back to him in this world given to Satan, right? So Satan's job is to get people not to join with the word, to become aligned with the word, so that people can become his victim. And his victim looks like somebody who has been stolen from, lied to, and straight murdered, whether it be spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, or physically. All right? So, with that being said, you have to pay very close attention to who you call on. You call on Yahweh, you're speaking to Yahweh, the Creator. Do it using his name. Honor his name, Yahweh. If you're calling him, as scripture suggests and instructs, and you need something from him to work something out, to show you some answers, to help you to become stronger morally, however it is you at, wherever you at in your walk, you do it in the name of Yahshua, because Yahshua means that Yah is salvation. Therefore, when you read scripture, you're reading Yahshua. And when you align yourself with scripture, you're aligning yourself with Yahshua. You're not calling on the no-name deity, just calling God. Anybody can be a God. I'm a God, okay? But there's only one, Yahweh. First thing he says in his commandments is you should have no other Elohim besides Yahweh your Elohim, for our Yahweh is one, right? He's one, he don't need another name. In any language, Yahweh is Yahweh. In any language, Yahshua still means Yahweh is salvation. So we don't use erroneous names or the names of other deities. Okay? This is why we reject Christ, Christos, Zeus, Jesus. And we accept Yahweh, and we accept his living word, Yahshua HaMashiach. Speaking of HaMashiach, today we had a conversation with a brother that brings us to Yohanan, aka John. John chapter 6. John chapter 6, we're going to go from verse 52 through 60. Okay? Now, this is not only the word of Yahshua, but this is also Yahshua's actual words, instructions. Okay? So, let's jump into this and see what it says versus what it has become. This is John chapter 6, beginning at verse 52. Well, I said 51, so 51. I am the living bread which came down out of heaven. Right there, Yahshua identified himself as the living bread, because we were told elsewhere, the man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahweh. And every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahweh is literally Yahshua, HaMashiach, the Messiah, to guide you back to alignment with Yahweh. All right? If anyone eats of this bread, he shall live forever. Meaning, Yahweh's word is eternal. Yahshua is eternal. So if you eat Yahshua, you internalize him. But we're going to get to the eating part, because it has nothing to do with actual picking up bread or wine and drinking it and eating it. All right? And indeed, the bread that I shall give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. All right? Keep that in mind. 52. The Yehudim therefore were striving with one another, saying, how is this one able to give us his flesh to eat? Right? Because they were taking it literally, like a bunch of demons have taken to do today, every first Sunday. All right? 53. Yahshua therefore said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the son of Adam and drink his blood, you possess no life in yourselves. In other words, the way he laid it down, the only way you're going to get through this is to devour his word, which is him. Now, when you say, this is my flesh, he don't mean the corporeal form. Think about it. That makes no sense at all. But what did he say? He said that you are the temple. They had to change to say church. Right? So that means that he was the first temple. And this is how you build your temple. Every man must worship under his own vine and fig tree. All right, back to this though. 54. He who eats of my flesh and drinks my blood possesses everlasting life, and I shall raise him up in the last day. So you who get this word, all of his word, everything that comes from the mouth of Yahweh, these are the keys to everlasting life. This is not determined to any religion. This is for everybody. See, the first time Yahweh spoke to Adam, Adam failed, being disobedient. Then he said, okay, I'll send my word through somebody else. Moshe got it. People asked for it. People failed. They failed to protect his name. They failed to live, bringing him glory in everything that they say and do. They failed to be universal and became compartmentalized cults, anti-heaven agents, agents of the fallen one. When he left heaven, he took a third of the angels with him. Where do you think they went? This is the great awakening. This is the dawn. This is the return. But back to this now. 55. For my flesh is truly food. The word is food. And my blood is truly drink. Now, when he talk about his blood, he means his actual blood. Without him allowing himself to be impaled on his starvos or his pole, his stick. When he did that, that was his sacrifice for you. Not in some magical way that says just because he did that, you good. No. But in a way that says the barriers have been taken away with him. Which means his word is for everybody. Anybody can align themselves with this word and bring heaven to earth. This is why he told his people, hey, man, I'm about to bounce, but don't trip. You'll see me again. Not only that, but you're going to be able to do the things you've seen me do and more. That was given had they stayed in alignment with his word and not allow the devil's government to creep in and twist and change the word. To have people worshiping behind man-made gods, losing their soul, which is why he say, hey, come the last day, you're going to be talking about, hey, Yeshua, I did this in your name. I prophesied in your name. I raised the dead in your name. You're going to be like, get away from me. I've never known you. Don't be caught out there like that. All right, we ain't done with this here. 56. He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood stays in me and I in him. Now just think about the logic behind that. Picture whatever you ever went through, whether it was school, or whether it was some game on the playground, or whether it was some job, or anything that you pursued. The more of it you did, the more proficient you became at it. And if you stuck with it, you became an expert at it. Being a good parent, being a good friend, being good to yourself. You have to practice, right? So you read the word, you keep getting the word, you're eating Yeshua, you're eating them up, devour them. You're letting him replace the nonsense that's been put in you. Straight from his word. Right? This is how you eat his flesh. This is how you drink his blood. All right? You're not vampires, you're not cannibals. So nobody is going to sit there and act like you're eating the Messiah. That's ridiculous. It makes no sense. I might have seen that on a vampire movie. Continuing on, though, to 58. This is the bread which came down out of heaven, not as your fathers ate the manna and died. He who eats this bread shall live forever. Life is the word of Yah. Without the word of Yah, you are dead. Oh, you may think you're living and breathing. Yeah, you're going through this and you're doing that. But you ain't living because you separated from the best parts of yourself, which is your higher self, which is what Yeshua came to show you how to get back to. This is why it's important to know the word, to read the word, and to use the proper names. Yahweh is the creator. Yeshua is his word. The Son, the living, breathing truth that leads you back to Yahweh. You can't call on Jesus and expect Yeshua to help you. You can't call on the no-name God and give him the glory and expect Yahweh, the Elohim of all, the master of all, to be on your corner. You can't even respect his name. You can't even respect his son's name that went through everything so that he could show you salvation, and you gonna think that he gonna come to your rescue? No. The devil will answer you though. The devil will continue to give you false hopes, a bunch of lies, a bunch of mystery. You know, read this and be like, I can't make heads or tail of that from what you talking about. Because the devil ain't interested in explaining this to you. Why would he be? He wants you chained right here on this ground with him. He wants to continue to be able to operate around you in the manipulative ways, in his fear tactics, in his rituals, and all this bull crap that separates you from the love of the Father. But once you get this, though, once you get this, nothing can take that from you. Once you understand how to align yourself with this and to make it work in your life, the devil can't touch you. But we still got a couple more verses here, so we are at now 59. He said this in the congregation teaching at Capernaum. All right. And that's where, oh no, I'm going to go to 62 because he said, therefore, many of his taught ones, having heard, said, this word is hard. Who is able to hear it? And I'm going to stop there on that because I ask you, when you read this word, is it hard for you to understand? It shouldn't be. But if it is, then I suggest this is one of the moments you go into your closet and you be real with the Father and yourself. Hey, man, listen, I'm not really understanding how this works, but I trust you, and I'm going to be obedient to your word. I'm going to align myself the best I can, and I'm going to ask you to give me what I'm missing, what I'm lacking. So when you talk to the Father, these are the types of things that you need to be asking for. It has nothing to do with asking for a new car or a new house or a better job. No. Ask to get the wisdom, the knowledge that he so freely wants to give you. Ask to remove the stumbling blocks from your path of understanding. I ask to give you the strength you need to separate yourself as he instructs in the word from the world and low wicked vibrations that try to separate you from the truth and logic of the word, to try to sell you somebody else's dream instead of allowing you to partake in your own dream as the Father intended for you to. All right, Music Club, I'm done for the day. Done for now. We love you as always. Yahweh Elohim loves you most, and I love you, Kim. We want you to keep your head up, stay positive, get that word. That word is your strength. Dig into your strength. Your strength is your positivity. Your strength is your love. Your strength is your unwavering, unconditional surrender to the Elohim of love. Anything other than that, nonsense, not going to lead you nowhere. His way will lead you to salvation, salvation of your own soul. And who knows, along the way, while you using the word to save yourself, he might help save somebody else. We love you at the FD3 Music Club, and as always, Yahweh, your Elohim loves you most. Peace, one love, under Yah. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. Have a blessed and peaceful Sabbath. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, enjoy your loved ones. Embrace positivity, reject all negativity. And we'll see you next time. FD3 Music Club.